everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Happy Wednesday. Whoop, whoop. Happy hump day to you. Absolutely glad you are here. Now, I did promise this will be a shorter video. And what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about bobbins. Yes. And I promise you, I can't tell you how to have a forever one, because if I could tell you that, forever full bobbin, I'd be a zillionaire by now, right? So that's not the topic, unfortunately, for today. But we are going to talk about bobbins. Now, there's no possible way that I can talk about every single machine and every single bobbin that it's required. That's not where we're going here. But there's a lot of us that do use certain bobbins. And I just want to give a little feedback and a little bit of education. My story goes back, like 7-8 years ago, when this whole bobbin thing started. And many people just may not know this information. So I want to pass it on. And then we're also going to do a little something with the sewing machine and our bobbins. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'll see you in just a sec. All right, guys. So here we are with a bobbin case. And all but one has some has thread on it, right? Very pretty. No particular order. And I want to tell you, there's only 2 bobbins in here that I can use at this current time. And this empty one is not one of them. It's these 2 right here. Okay, so let me tell you the little story. So I currently sew with a Quantum Stylist 9960 from Singer. Very inexpensive machine. Currently it runs around $450, $500. So wonderful machine. I've been happy with it, but it requires a 15 class bobbin. That'd be this one with these 2. Okay. And we're going to talk about that, but the story starts, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. My husband decided to gift me some extra bobbins, cause I only had like 4 to 8. Okay. And I tend to use a lot of colors, right? So he decided to gift me some, and he ended up gifting me 15J. That's some of these, I think. I don't know. I think I got rid of them all. But this one I think is a 15J. Looks very similar to a, what do we call this? A 15. Very, very similar. Okay, now, when I first got these bobbins, these ones are actually newer, these 2. And when I very first got them, they looked identical to this. And then the manufacturer made a change. But I had no idea the difference between a 15J and a 15. I couldn't see it at all. And he wasn't meaning anything bad about it. He didn't realize, because they looked identical. Okay. So I ended up calling Singer, the manufacturer, because I do buy Singer bobbins. So I ended up, and they, work with my machine. So I went ahead and gave them a call. And by no circumstances should you ever use a 15J inside of my machine. If your machine requires a 15, class 15 bobbin, do not interchange with 15Js. What'll happen, as it was explained to me very nicely, wonderful company to call. If you ever have a question, you have a Singer, they are fantabulous, okay? So the reason is it can actually throw the timing off on your machine, and it could possibly damage your bobbin casing. Now, I went out today before I videoed, and I looked at how much of a bobbin casing would cost me for my machine. It normally runs currently $144 and change, and it's on sale for $99.99. So $100 today, okay? Here at the end, close to the end of March of 2023. I don't know what it'll cost in the future, and I don't know what it cost back in the day, further back, but today it's $99. So if I use these interchangeably, not understanding that this was actually a J, and I really needed a 15, not a 15J. Not only would it cost me to service to get the timing straight, right? But I may even have to possibly spend an extra $100 today on buying a new bobbin case. And for a $450 machine, that gets rather expensive, right? You got to be careful. So that's how important it is. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to close this up because I'm going to attempt to show you some of the differences and why you might not know what you got. And I went out yesterday because I don't use 15Js. So I went out in a hurry because I think I've thrown them all away. At least I hope I did. We'll find out when I go to look at that bobbin case with all the threads on it, because I haven't done anything with it, because if they're just older 15s, I'm good, right? Okay. But I might just end up throwing them out. Okay, so here is a 15J in a brand new case, okay? Came with this little tab. And I can tell the difference. They've done some changes, like I said, with when they started to manufacture. So you can tell the difference today. But here is a 15, class 15 bobbin. Now, I don't know if you can actually tell or not, but when I put them on top of each other, they are so close in the same size, it's ridiculous. Okay? And to be honest with you, what the difference is, this class 15 is I wrote it down, no, that's not true. The height of it is, so going from the bottom to the top is 12 millimeters. And on the 15J, from the bottom to the top is 11 millimeters. I'm talking millimeters, guys. Okay? The width is actually very close too. The 15, class 15 is 21 millimeters, and the 15J is 20 millimeters. Okay, so we're talking about a millimeter of a difference, both up and down. I mean, up, down, and across, okay, in width. So that's very minimal. Now, and if you wanted to, and maybe you have a caliper in your garage. I don't have one. I'm going to get one. But you can use a caliper to measure, and that way you can tell exactly what you do have. But they did have some manufacturing changes. So one of the things I wanted to point out, I'm going to grab our best friend here. On the 15J, this is a very smooth top. Okay? Very, very smooth. And on the new ones, it has a rectangle hole and a circle hole. Okay? And we're going to talk about what these holes are in a little bit. Okay? But it's very, very smooth on top. So when they made the first manufacturing change to the 15, class 15, the one without the letter, they put a bevel around the outside. So I think you can see that there's a line right here, okay? And it's actually a bevel. So the outside sits a little bit lower, okay? But that was the first change they made. It used to have, so some of them that you have may have the circle hole and the square hole, okay? The second change they made is we only now have a square hole, like you can see right there. There's no other holes on this bobbin, okay? Now the class 15, a lot of machines, a lot of manufacturing companies use it, like some of the Brothers, some of the Fafs. There's a list, okay? And they do put it on the back side. Some of them, they put a list on the back side of which machines take it. I mean, we've got Atlas, Brother, I don't know, some of the Kenmore's, Morse. Anyway, the list goes on. And I will tell you, there are other companies that do make, besides Singer, they do make class 15 bobbins. Now, I would definitely, if you're not sure, I would definitely call your manufacturer. And sometimes, from my understanding, some manufacturers tell you that you need to use their brand bobbins. Okay. I don't know. I'm not any kind of service person or any expert. So always, 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 I encourage you just to call your manufacturer. I mean, if it's in your manual, that's a good starting place too. But it's so easy to pick up the telephone and dial a number and talk to a person. So, and they can give you, oh my gosh, so much information. You will learn absolutely so much. So now I can actually tell the difference between the class 15 and a class 15J. This is your J with the flat and the 2 holes, and the class 15 has 1 hole and the bevel on the new ones. Okay. I also want to let you know that if you do buy Singer products, this is the new packaging. I actually bought this from a store yesterday. Okay. And along with the 15Js, and they're still in the red, but these are what those look like. But I don't want you to get concerned or worried if it's a different color. It's just a different packaging. They just changed the packaging. So I told them on the phone, I wish they would have yesterday. I called them yesterday. We'll talk about why later in the video. But I wish they would have left a circle hole. But I do appreciate that they did make that change. So if you've got bobbins that look different, okay, this truly could be an old 15. I know it's a 15J because I just bought it. But if it's old, it could be a class 15. So you have a choice. If you only supposed to use class 15, you can pitch these, or you can try and measure them with a caliper, okay? Because that'll let you go down to the millimeter with a caliper. I think that's how you say it. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure one of y'all will let me know. But at any rate, now it's very easy. And I just wanted to talk about this because if you don't know what you don't know, you could be hurting your machine and not even know it. And maybe your machine needs a class 15J. You don't want to interchange it with a class 15. Okay? So it's very, very important that you use the right bobbin. They may look so similar. They may be identical. But there's some kind of change. I mean, if this one didn't have the bevel and only 1 square hole, it very well may look like this one, and I wouldn't have a clue. Okay? So it's so important that you check which bobbin you need and make sure you have the right bobbins. And if you don't, give them away, throw them away. I don't know. Give them to your guild. Take them to the thrift shop. Man, that'd be a good goodwill thing. Maybe they'll take them. Lots of people can use them. But, you need to be careful. And I will tell you, hold on, I don't want to get anything confused here. The one I showed you earlier, I actually bought another one of these machines, so I have a backup just in case something happens, or if I need to have it serviced. So I have another Quantum, and the lady, it was hardly used. I got a great deal. But the lady had these bobbins in with it. And again, to me, it looks like a 15J. Now, I don't know if you can actually see this one that came from the lady that I bought the machine from is actually a little bit of a tint of yellow. Okay. This one is a lot more, it might have a small shade of blue to it. It's really hard to tell, but the class 15s are completely translucent. So I know this, I don't even think this would be old class 15. I bet you this is a 15J, and she was using it not knowing the difference. So I see it all the time. And so I think it's so important because I don't want you to throw your timing off. I don't want you to hurt your bobbin casing or whatever the difference for your machine may make. Okay, because I don't know what it would do necessarily to a brother, for instance. I'm just giving you my spiel. All right. And I want to tell you, last but not least, before we got to make sure I'm putting all these correct places, because I'm going to, you saw my bobbin casing, and I got to go through and figure out exactly what's in there. One of the other things, probably 2019, I went on Amazon, and I love Amazon. I'm not knocking Amazon. But I went on Amazon and I purchased inexpensive bobbin casing. Okay. And they told me that they were class 15s, and they could be. However, let's look at it. It's got a smooth top, and it's got a circle hole and a square hole. This indicates to me that it's a 15J, but I don't have a clue. Now, I did use them not knowing and not thinking, because I bought them and it says class 15, not 15J. Okay. But I really didn't like them, and I'm going to show you a good one on camera here to demonstrate why. I want to find a really good one. Not all bobbins are created equal, okay? I have learned this the hard way. Oh, here's a good one. So where the two pieces of plastic meet, okay, there's a line where they fuse the two pieces of plastic together to form the circle. Inside here, see if I can turn this. Let me get that out of the way. Get less glare. Yeah, you can see. Let me turn it just a little bit more. Okay, so see right here? That actually sticks out a lot, okay? That's where they fused it, but they didn't clean it off, okay? So understanding that, what would happen is it would catch on my thread, and I can't tell you how many headaches I had. So, lesson learned. Now, what I could do, if these are really 15s, which I will find out by measuring them, I'm going to ask my husband if he can shave these down and make them flat. It's a very small space, so I'm not sure that, well, I don't even know if he wants to. I don't. They were really inexpensive, guys. So, but if he can clean those up and these are actually 15s, then I'd be able to use them. But right now, even if they didn't have all this gooky stuff in the middle, that looks like a 15J to me, and that'll ruin my machine. Okay, so that's the spiel. That's my story. I wanted to share it because I do see sometimes different things online. I see people ask questions and comments. I see when people go up close and what their bobbins look like, and it's not necessary that they're not both the same class, but because of the changes, kind of makes me nervous for them. And so I'm out here telling all of you so that you don't have to put more money, especially, granted, I can afford to replace my $500 machine. Okay. Once I get something that costs $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, right? That's a lot more expensive to replace. Or I'm sure the parts even go up. I would imagine the parts will go up. So I just wanted to save y'all some money and some headaches. And I will tell you that for me, I can tell because they stitch different. And my 15Js, when I had them in there, I was having a lot of trouble. Off and on. It wasn't happening all the time, but every now and again I'd have some trouble. So I'm just letting you know. All right, so the next thing is, okay, this one came from that lady. Oh, it does have a square. Okay. So speaking of this class 15, because that's what I use, right? But the 15J has it too. We have that square or rectangle hole. And if you have two holes, and you're supposed to have two holes on your bobbin, one will be a circle and one will be a square. And I realize that not everybody knows why. Okay? So I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to show you why. And maybe you'll even learn something new. And I got to tell you, I got to ask, guys, if you already know, okay, drop a comment down into the comment section, because I'd love to know how many people actually knew the reason for a square hole, whether you have just a square hole or not. Okay, so we're going to pull you on over to the sewing machine. I'm going to get the camera set up over here so we can look at it over top. I'm going to load this bobbin with you, and we're going to go ahead and square this up. No, just kidding. That is a terrible joke. All right, I'll see you guys in just a sec. Here we are at the top of my sewing machine, okay? And I went ahead and, I probably should use a darker thread. I went ahead and preloaded my thread through the system to get ready to do my bobbin winding, okay? And as a reminder, so your 15Js, which I'm not going to wind because I cannot use 15Js on my machine, right? But it has a circle hole and a square hole, okay? So I'm going to show you with this bobbin what the two holes are for, and then we're going to wind a class 15 because it only has a square hole, right? Okay. So what the two holes are for. So you take the hole that's a circle, the circle hole. That's the place where you're supposed to put your thread through the hole so you can hold on to it. Okay? Now this square hole, let's talk about their machines for a second. If you look at your bobbin spinner, and if I can get a good picture of this, I will. But there's a little piece that sticks out. Kind of looks like a triangle sticking out on the side. Okay? And if I spin around, you can see like there's a little piece of metal that sticks out. Okay? That's actually designed for a reason. And it goes along with the square hole. So what you do is you put your, I'm getting my threads all mixed up. You put your bobbin onto your bobbin winder. You're going to want to hold on to it, and you're going to want to spin the bobbin. I don't know if you heard that. So I'm going to come a little closer with the microphone. You're going to hold on to this bobbin, and the bobbin winder, the metal part, so it doesn't move, and you're going to spin your bobbin. Listen. I hope you heard that. So it clicks. What is that click? It's that piece of metal going into the rectangle hole. And what that does is it makes it so that your bobbin is locked into the bobbin winder. Whenever you go ahead, remember I'm not going to wind this one, but you go ahead and engage, your bobbin winder and your bobbin are synced. It's locked in together. And when you hit go, the bobbin won't spin, creating uneven tension anywhere in your bobbin because it's locked into the actual bobbin winder. So everything's moving at a consistent pace. There's no slippage, and your thread on the bobbin will in fact be wound with even tension. Okay, so it won't cause you, I don't know if you've ever experienced that where you're like sewing and then something weird happens, but then it goes back to normal with your stitches. It may be because you didn't have it locked. Okay, it's one of the things. So now remember on our class, that was class J, class 15J. I'm not going to wind that. I'm not supposed to use it. But just in case you're supposed to use it, I just let you know. Now we don't have two holes. So I called Singer yesterday and I told him I was very disappointed that they took out the circle hole. And I wanted to make sure that I could still load my thread through the square hole and it wouldn't cause any tension issues on the bobbin while it's winding. It wouldn't do anything and get caught up inside the bobbin winder. It wouldn't mess anything up. I wanted to make sure we were good. And they did say that it was perfectly fine. So what I do is I take my thread and I put it through that square hole. Okay. Pull it up. Now I'm going to get real quiet again because remember, I'm going to hold this down on top with my finger and I'm going to spin my bobbin. Okay. Oh, it didn't click. I don't think I have it pushed down far enough. Whoop. Okay, I didn't go far enough. Here we go. Did you hear that? I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to cut because I really want you to hear. So I'm going to put the microphone closer, and we're going to try this. All right, so I got the microphone up here. I think that's going to be close enough. You might have heard it before, but I haven't edited. Okay, so my little thingy's over here, so that's how we know how far I'm going to go. And if it doesn't click and it passes it, I know something's something's up, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put the bobbin on top. Oh, I hope y'all can hear me. Put the bobbin on top. I'm going to hold down with my finger and turn the bobbin. You should have heard that one. So I'm going to go ahead and push it to the right because that's what I do on my machine. I'm going to hold on to this thread and I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm pushing on my pedal. And when I get a good amount going, well, make sure you take your foot off. I'm going to go ahead and snip it. Oh, I got a piece of thread sticking out. Oh, it didn't cut it right. All right, no worries. We'll just go ahead and get in there and give it a cut. And I'm going to finish loading up this bobbin, guys. I know you don't want to watch that. And when it's over, my bobbin will be clean, and I'll see you guys in just a sec. All right, I got my bobbin done. My 15, class 15, the one without the letter, okay? Those are the ones that I'm supposed to use. And like I said, there's no way I would know every machine myself. So this isn't about that. I do encourage you, though, if you have two bobbins that don't, you know, that one has one hole and one has two holes and one has a bevel and one's flat and maybe different colors. I don't know. Because I've seen some that are different colors, but I don't have those machines. So whatever it is that you're supposed to have, no matter if it's a 15J, a 15, oh, there's a lot of different numbers. There's another one I'll talk about on the live. I don't have one, but I looked at it. But whatever bobbin you're supposed to have, make sure those are the bobbins that you do have. And if you have any questions about which bobbin you should have, you can check your manual, first place. To be honest with you, I've never seen it in my manual. Now, I could be blind, but I've never seen the size. I just know what it came with. So if it's not in your manual or you're confused, definitely you can go to their website. They all have a website. There's probably a button. And I'm going to put a link for Singer's website along with a resource page because there is a plethora of information even on bobbin. So I'm going to direct link to the bobbin page. Now, while I was on the phone with the lady, because she showed me where all this was, right? She let me know about this page and then about the bobbins. But the bobbin was an older bobbin, so it didn't look like the new manufactured Class C. And she's like, yeah, the pictures were taken before, but it does break down how big they're supposed to be, you know, how in the millimeters and even in inches. It's like 7/16 of an inch or something. I don't know. But it breaks that all down for you. It talks about the different things about them, but it also talks about all kinds of different bobbins on there. So your website for your manufacturing sewing machine company may in fact have all that information too. It is amazing the things that you can find on their websites. And if you're still confused or you just don't want to go down a lot of rabbit holes, I don't know how y'all work, but I'll tell you what, I do tend to go down some rabbit holes. There's always, well, I shouldn't say that. There is possibly an 800 number that you can call. If you can call your manufacturer, it's so nice to be able to talk to somebody. And they can let you know the yeses, the nos, and the whys. They can tell you why you shouldn't do that. And that will sink in your head more. I think a lot of times when we learn something, if we learn why or why not, it tends to be ingrained further into our heads, right? So all of those things, your manual, the website, or a phone call. I so encourage you, if you have any question about what you have or what you should be using, okay? So I hope that was helpful. We will be on today. Like always, we're doing our live Q&A, live quilting and answers. That's we, because it'll be Mayhem and I out there for you. So if anybody has any questions, I will talk a little bit about some other things. But that will add to the video a little bit, but definitely there if you have any questions, and I'd love to see you all there. We would all love to see you all there. So I look forward to seeing you at 3 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm here in Virginia. So that's 3 p.m. today Eastern time for our live Q&A, or I get to see you all in a couple weeks or next week Yeah, next Wednesday. I get to see you all next Wednesday for our Cherub Chit Chat. So if anybody has any pictures of any works in progress or quilt tops finished, or maybe the whole kit and caboodle's done, I'd love, love, love for you to share it with us. And we would love to share it on the Cherub Chit Chat live video next week. So at any rate, thank you all for stopping by. Thanks for letting me get my bobbin wound. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, may you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful, never stop believing, and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. We love y'all. Happy quilting. Whoop, whoop. Happy hump day. See you all soon.